problems where you're like, oh, yeah, that's easy. The Eagles are 12-0 since last year when they throw it less than 25 times. Throw the ball less, run more. That's always the answer in Philadelphia. Saquon Barkley touched it 6 times Sunday, and they were leading by 2 touchdowns. Is this the moment when Eagle fans have to acknowledge that Sirianni's been kind of riding on the coattails of a great GM and a highly functional quarterback?
So there's a lot here, man. And I'm glad you brought up, marriage counseling, because I heard the story yesterday that Jalen, AJ, and Saquon got together and hashed out what's been going on. And then I heard the end of the report, which is the meeting lasted for a little over 2 hours. And you know what I said? And people can get mad, and Eagle fans can tweet this and aggregate it and say, oh, Nick's being unfair. They know I'm right. 2-hour meeting, too long. Marriage counseling is 55 minutes. Your whole life's on the line. Anything that is not resolved by minute 45 is not getting resolved minute 98. So that, I didn't love that report. I was like, all right, that's first thing. Second thing is, and I'll bring up marriage again, it seems like Kevin Patullo keeps overcorrecting in various directions, like when your wife gets mad at you, it's like, you don't buy me flowers anymore, and then you bring her flowers every day for a week, and by the end of the week, she's like, all right, enough. You're overdoing it. I said, the problem was we're not passing enough. So in a game you're leading, you'd call 2 designed second half runs. So the Eagles are objectively, Colin, an excellent team. They have an excellent roster. They have the most expensive offense in the history of the NFL, and they have a top 5 offensive line, a top 5 running back, top 5 receivers, and a really good quarterback. I don't know where you want to rank him, but which makes it so unfathomable that in their last 6 halves of football, they have either had less than 8 yards rushing or 8 yards passing in 3 of them.
Yeah.
They've only played how many halves all year? 10 halves all year. And in 3 of the last 6, they have been totally non-existent on one side, in one facet of the game. And here is why I think it is fair to be a little concerned. It reminds me a bit of 2 years ago when they started 10-1, but it was so angsty. And every game they won, but it was like, yeah, but. And what that led to was a historic collapse.
Okay, that's the end of the segment. Where do I want to begin? Where do I want to begin? Let me just very quickly say this is not the same as 2023 because they had 2 awful coordinators, okay? Jalen Hurts was not the quarterback in 23 that he is today in 2025. Nick Sirianni is not the coach that he was in 2023 that he is today in 2025. Fangio was not there in 2023. Last time I checked, he's an elite defensive mind in the NFL. Not to mention the Eagles in 2023, they were not playing great football on both offense or defense. This time of year, they are playing great football on both sides of the ball. I'm sorry it doesn't look exactly how you want it to look. It's obviously not perfect, especially offensively. But it doesn't mean that they're just so lost and confused. In 23, they didn't know any of the solutions to any of the problems that they could face. That's not the case in 25. Why? Because this team has won a Super Bowl. They know how to win. They know how to play together. Devontae, AJ, Saquon, Jalen, etc. They know how to play together. Saquon wasn't even on the team in 23. Jalen Hurts was also injured. His knee was bagged up to the point that Nick said, I guarantee you Jalen Hurts will get surgery in the off-season. That's what he said. You had a quarterback when Jalen Hurts, who was turning the ball over a lot, by the way, that year. And now Jalen Hurts has the most pass attempts with the least interceptions. Gotta mean something, right? No, it doesn't because it's Jalen Hurts. Oh yeah, I forgot that rule. I gotta make sure I put that on my wall. Things don't matter for Jalen Hurts. Okay, that's just that's the low-hanging fruit. Let's talk about something that's directly in my wheelhouse. Relationships, therapy, psychology, conflict resolution, personalities, team building, small group meetings. Oh yeah, because I studied it because I was a literal therapist where I actually ran small group where I was running one-on-one therapy sessions for hours and hours a day. Okay? Yeah. Managed a community of like 20 plus people who were in severe need of help at the same time. They all lived under the same roof. Okay. I think it's something that I maybe have a little bit of an understanding. We now want to clutch our pearls and say, heavens to Betsy, they met for 2 hours. Well, a marriage counseling meeting only lasts like 45 minutes. Yeah, that's because of insurance reasons and financial reasons. If you think you can do all the work in your failing marriage in 45 minutes, once every 2 weeks, best of luck to you. Best of luck to you. I mean, my goodness. We're now going to zoom in and try to be like the fact that they got together and talked for 2 hours. First off, these are men. These are men who have been through a lot. They've won. They're teammates. They've won together. They've lost together. They're trying to figure this out. The fact that they all got together is amazing. It shows you the team building and the championship integrity and the leadership that this team has, that these guys have, that they understand what's at stake here and aggregate this. We all know that if it was Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and whatever doing it, it would say most teams would get together for only like 45 minutes. Heck, marriage counseling is only 45 minutes. But what do the Chiefs do? They get together for 2 hours because they know that first hour, Colin, you know what it's like. That first half hour, 45 minutes is always like, we're just getting to it and yada, yada, yada. But the real work happens in hour 2. And Patrick Mahomes knows it. He knows it because he's in the greatest relationship in the history of the world. You know, like he has the greatest marriage in the history of the world and blah, 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 blah. But with the Eagles, it's not good. We're literally now trying to count the minutes of a meeting. Like there was no, like we have any idea how that meeting went. We have any idea how if maybe the first 45 minutes they were just kind of hanging out and chilling and talking and just kind of, reconnecting with everyone, just, and then they're like, all right, you guys ready to get to work here? You ready to start to have the tough conversations right now? And they're like, yeah, let's do it. That happens in a lot of conversations with people. Have you ever, and this is different in a marriage because it's comparing it to a marriage is different. I don't know if you guys know this, but like when you're married to someone and you have children with them, it's a completely different dynamic. Okay? Completely different dynamic. Do you go to marriage counseling when you get in a fight or a disagreement with your mom or dad, your children, your best friends? No, you don't. Okay, got it. When you're getting together in this type of context, there's a great chance that you're going to just chill for a minute. You're going to just talk. You're going to just hang out. You're just going to bro out, man. They're going to talk about who knows what. So much is going on in these guys' lives. They could be talking about their children, their wives, girlfriends, whatever. They're going to be cracking jokes, talking about a whole bunch of other stuff. There's times when I've gotten in serious fights with some of my biggest, closest friends, and we got to talk. And we don't just hit the ground running. We're not like, this is what we need to talk about. Let's go, 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 go. We talk about a little bit of everything. How's your wife? How's the kids? How's everything else going? How's your mom and dad? Oh, your dad. Oh man. And he's going, oh yeah, that blood work came back a little high. Yeah. No, listen. I don't know. Same thing happened with my dad, too. It ended up not being the biggest deal. He probably will get, this medication. We'll see what happens. I have to play it by a year. Is he going to get a second opinion? Oh, no. Okay, good. No, that's great. Yeah. No, for sure. Okay. Yeah, you talk a little bit of this. Talk a little bit about that. You know what I just saw? You know what I've been up to? I've been watching this show. It's been really good. It's I've been binge watching it, man. I went through the first season in like 3 minutes. Yeah, I know. I do that. Yeah. 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 Yeah, and then you're like, all right, let's get to it now. Let's get to it now. You're not going to do that with your wife. You're not going to do that in a therapy session. How do I know? Because I ran them, because I've done them on both sides. Oh God. I said this was going to happen. I said this was going to happen last season. I said this was going to happen probably in February after they won the Super Bowl, because I said the Philadelphia Eagles are going to be the only team who, if they don't win the Super Bowl, if they're not undefeated, if they don't just win every single game, it'll be like, that's proof there's a problem. There's proof that they weren't really deserving to win the Super Bowl last year, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy that the Eagles have to go back to back, that they have to win every Super Bowl, that Jalen Hurts has to throw for 10,000 yards, rush for 10,000 yards. Saquon Barkley has to rush for 10,000 yards. A.J. Brown has to receive 20,000 yards. Devontae, 18,000 yards. But now Nicky's riding on the coattails. Jalen Hurts is just not that good. Can't win big games when they ask him to throw a lot. It's weird. I mean, you guys understand this, right? That Jalen Hurts in Week 5 threw for the 7 most yards, okay? 280 yards and 7.44 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, and he played great. Jalen Hurts played awesome, made some huge big-time throws. Out of all the quarterbacks that had higher passing yards, Jalen Hurts actually had more big-time throws, less turnover-worthy plays, and actually dealt with more pressure. Okay, Justin Fields is the only quarterback that dealt with more pressure with 25. And that's because he's terrible and the Jets are terrible, and Jalen Hurts would have had even more. If A.J. Brown catches that one ball, he would have thrown for, 340 yards or so, 3 touchdowns, right? An even higher passer rating, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just bizarre to me that we can even take a game like this where Jalen Hurts plays objectively great, really well, makes some beautiful throws, some insane clutch throws. A throw that was called back because of, Saquon Barkley in motion. But on a 4th down, just a beautiful ball to Devontae, which would have changed the game completely. Even had a great 2-minute drill. Jalen Hurts, mind you, executes that perfectly. Gets at midfield, gets a Hail Mary, and hits Devontae in the hands. For any other quarterback, that would be all considered extraordinary. It would be all considered extraordinary. But with Jalen Hurts, we want to highlight this is negative. Even Bo Nix, who I think is great. Colin makes the statement that the Denver Broncos are the better team, the better coach, the better quarterback. That's what he said in his video. And it's like in a game where Bo Nix threw for 242 yards, 6.2 yards per attempt, and 1 touchdown, 1 big-time throw, and a pass rating of 87.8. That's the game that they use. And in fact, Bo Nix has the better coach, has the better defense than the Philadelphia, because Eagles defense isn't as good right now and has the worst coach, a bad offensive coordinator. And Jalen Hurts actually does more and does better. And yet in that game, it's proof Jalen Hurts is really not that good, but Bo Nix is actually great and better. We just make stuff up for the sake of making stuff up. We really do. Okay. Matthew Stafford threw the ball 47 times, he lost. Justin Fields threw the ball 46 times, he lost. Patrick Mahomes threw the ball 41 times, he lost. Jake Browning threw the ball 40 times, he lost. Jackson Dart threw the ball 40 times, he lost. Okay. Cam Ward got that win, but that was bizarre. Jalen Hurts the ball 38 times, he lost. Tua, he lost. Geno, he lost. Sam Darnold, he lost. So, I just don't know what we're kind of talking about here. Jane Daniels only threw the ball 26 times, they won. Trevor Lawrence only threw the ball 25 times, they won. Jared Goff only threw the ball 23 times, he won. CJ Stroud threw the ball only 27 times, he won. Dak Prescott threw the ball only 29 times, he won. Daniel Jones threw the ball only 29 times, he won. So, what does that all mean then? When all these teams throw the ball less, they win. And when all the teams that throw the ball more, they lose. What are we saying here? I need to know, what are we saying here? What's the conclusion to draw? Oh, there's no real conclusion to draw. We just want to make stuff up based on however we feel prior to the moment. Okay? Makes sense. I get it. I don't, because it's nonsense. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Jalen Hurts, the Philadelphia Eagles? Have they lost their championship identity? Is it alarming that they got together for not 1 hour, not 90 minutes, not 115 minutes, not 119 minutes, but 120 minutes? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.